Driving alone on a desolate highway at midnight, the line between reality and illusion can blur. The veil of night, thick and impenetrable, swallows the world, leaving only the narrow halo of my headlights to pierce the darkness. The hum of the engine is my sole companion, a mechanical heartbeat pulsing in the silence of the night. The road, a winding serpent, slithers through the hushed landscape, its course lit by the cold, indifferent stars. The trees on the roadside stand like spectral sentinels, their shadows dancing in the flickering light. The moon, a silver crescent hung high in the sky, bathes the world in an otherworldly glow, casting long, eerie shadows that seem to reach out, as if trying to touch something, someone. The silence is deafening, the emptiness, unsettling. The world outside is still, as if holding its breath, watching, waiting. The road is a lonely place at this hour. It's just me, my car, and the endless expanse of darkness. The isolation is palpable. It's a strange feeling being the only living, breathing thing in a world swallowed by the night. An unsettling feeling creeps up my spine, a sense of unease that I can't shake off. There's something about the night, about its quiet, its stillness that feels off. The solitude, the silence, the darkness, they all conspire to create an atmosphere that's eerily quiet, disconcertingly calm. It's as if the night is alive, its silence a living entity, its darkness an all-encompassing shroud. The road stretches out before me, a path into the unknown. Each curve, each turn hides a new mystery, a new uncertainty. The journey is a solitary one, the destination unknown. The night is full of surprises, full of unexpected turns. It's a journey into the heart of darkness, a voyage into the unknown. The road stretched endlessly before me, a path into the unknown. Suddenly my car sputtered and died, leaving me stranded in the middle of nowhere. The peaceful hum of the engine was abruptly replaced by an eerie silence. The dashboard lights flickered and faded, plunging the car into complete darkness. My heart pounded against my chest like a relentless drum, echoing the silence that surrounded me. With a sense of mounting dread, I turned the key in the ignition again and again, but the engine remained stubbornly silent. Panic began to set in, wrapping its icy fingers around my heart. The car, once a symbol of freedom and mobility, had become a cold, lifeless cage in the middle of an ocean of darkness. Outside, the once familiar landscape had transformed into a menacing unknown. The trees, bathed in the pale moonlight, looked like spectral apparitions, their branches reaching out like gnarled fingers. The wind howled through the empty expanse, carrying with it the chilling whisper of solitude. I fumbled with my phone, the cold sweat on my palms making it almost impossible to hold. The screen glowed ominously, the battery icon blinking with a cruel sense of finality. My attempts to call for help were futile. The signal bar, usually a constant companion, had abandoned me, replaced by a mocking no service sign. I could feel the icy tendrils of fear creeping up my spine, the dread seeping into my very bones. The sense of isolation was overwhelming. The world outside the car was a void, a black hole that threatened to swallow me whole. Every sound, every rustle of the leaves, every gust of wind seemed magnified, a symphony of terror playing out in the pitch-black night. The realization was brutal and unforgiving. I was alone, utterly and completely alone. The comforting bubble of civilization had burst, leaving behind the harsh reality of survival. The darkness outside was not just a physical barrier, but a psychological one, a wall of fear and uncertainty. I was alone, stranded in the darkness with no help in sight. The words echoed in my mind, a chilling reminder of the unseen terror that lurked in the shadows. Out of the darkness, a figure emerged, a stranger offering help. His silhouette, merely a darker shade against the pitch-black night, gave off an eerie aura. He seemed to appear out of nowhere, materializing from the inky blackness that surrounded us. The sudden appearance of the stranger, tall and shadowy, startled us. We were three sisters, stranded on a desolate road, our only lifeline to safety. Our car had given up the ghost. We were miles away from civilization. Our mobile phones were dead, and we were enveloped by an uncanny silence that only the night could bring. This stranger, his face hidden under the hood of his jacket, sent chills down our spines. His voice, though soft and seemingly friendly, echoed in the quiet night, adding to the surreal and terrifying atmosphere. Our initial reaction was hesitance. It's a natural instinct, isn't it? To be wary of the unknown, to be skeptical of a stranger's intentions, especially when you're stranded in the middle of nowhere under the cover of darkness. Yet desperation has a way of overriding our instincts. We were desperate, scared, and cold. The stranger, as ominous as he might be, was our only hope. He claimed he knew a thing or two about cars. We watched, our hearts pounding in our chests, as he bent over the engine, his hands moving with certainty and skill. His presence, initially unsettling, started to bring a sense of relief. Here was someone who could help us, get us back on the road, back to safety. We found ourselves caught between the primal fear of the unknown and the desperate need for rescue. Accepting help from a stranger isn't easy, especially when the circumstances are as creepy as ours. Yet we realized that sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. We had no other choice. The stranger was our only hope in the desolate, dark night. In the middle of the desolate road, I was left with no other choice but to trust a stranger. As he tinkered with the car, he spoke of a danger that lurked in the shadows. His voice was steady, but the gravity of his words made our hearts pound in our chests. The stranger, our unexpected mechanic, told us of a chilling tale that had been whispered among the locals for years. He spoke of a figure that haunted this stretch of road, a figure as elusive as it was terrifying. Under the cloak of night it prowled, a spectre in the darkness, preying on the lost and the unsuspecting. Its presence was marked by unexplainable car failures, inexplicably drained batteries, and a bone-chilling cold that seeped into your very soul. The stranger's tale was filled with accounts of those who had encountered this figure. Drivers much like us, stranded on the desolate road, their lives forever marked by the terror of that encounter. He spoke of eyes that glowed in the darkness, of a cold, cruel laughter that echoed through the night, and of the paralyzing fear that gripped those who heard it. His words painted a vivid picture of a nightmarish entity, an embodiment of the fear that night driving often instilled. The stranger's tale was not just a story. It was a warning to those who dared to venture on this road after dark, a warning we wished we had heard before we embarked on this journey. His tale ended with a caution, a chilling prophecy he delivered with a grave seriousness. "Be wary of the stranger that walks out at night," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, his eyes reflecting the fear his words instilled. "He's looking to kill. He preys on the vulnerable, the stranded. You're lucky there's 3 of you. Alone, you wouldn't stand a chance." His words sent chills down my spine. Watch out for the stranger that walks out at night looking to kill. The stranger's warning echoed in our ears long after his voice had faded, a chilling reminder of the danger that lurked in the shadows of this desolate road. No sooner had he finished his warning, he vanished into the night. One moment he was there, the next he was not, as if he had never been there at all, swallowed up by the dark. The night seemed to swallow his form whole, leaving us standing in its cold, empty jaws. The shock of his sudden disappearance rooted us to the spot. It was an uncanny thing, something that sent ripples of unease through the very marrow of our bones. It felt as if reality itself had twisted, leaving us in a world that was slightly off-kilter. In the wake of his vanishing act, an eerie silence descended. The stillness was almost tangible, like a thick, heavy blanket smothering the world. It was a silence that you could feel in your teeth, a silence that seemed to echo the stranger's chilling warning. The fear that had been simmering beneath the surface began to bubble over. It gripped us, cold and unrelenting, like a vice around our hearts. It was a primal fear, the kind that is hardwired into our DNA, a fear that speaks of predators lurking in the dark, of dangers unseen. The stranger's words echoed in our heads, a chilling mantra that seemed to pulse with our quickening heartbeats. "Be careful out on these dark roads. Watch out for the stranger that walks out at night looking to kill. You'd be lucky to have each other. If it was just one of you alone, you wouldn't have been so lucky." And just like that, the world seemed a lot darker, a lot scarier. We were 3 sisters, alone on a desolate road, with a warning ringing in our ears and a fear gnawing at our hearts. We were a long way from the safety of our mother's home, and the night was full of terrors. He was gone, leaving behind an echo of his chilling warning. And with that echo, a dread that would linger long after the night had given way to dawn. With a pounding heart, I continued my journey, haunted by the stranger's words. The road ahead, once familiar and comforting, was now a terrifying path shrouded in the unknown. Each turn, each bend felt like a step further into an abyss of fear and uncertainty. My hands gripped the steering wheel tighter, knuckles white as the moonlight that barely pierced the inky blackness around us. The once mundane sounds of the night took on a sinister tone. The rustling of the leaves, the hoot of an owl, the distant howl of a wolf, they all echoed the stranger's warning, amplifying the dread that had settled deep within my bones. My eyes darted back and forth, scanning the edges of the road, half expecting to see the ominous figure the stranger had warned us about. The drive seemed to stretch on for an eternity. Each minute felt like an hour, each mile like a marathon. The fear of the unknown, the anticipation of a lurking danger, was like a relentless tormentor, gnawing at our nerves, keeping us on edge. The silence in the car was punctuated only by our shallow breaths and the occasional gasp when a shadow moved or a sudden noise startled us. But the road, as unnerving as it was, also held a promise of an end, of reaching our destination, of escaping the chilling grasp of the night. And so, with every passing mile, the glimmer of hope grew brighter, pushing back the cloak of fear. The sight of the familiar landmarks, the soft glow of the house lights in the distance, they all whispered of safety, of the end of our ordeal. As the car pulled into the driveway, relief washed over me like a soothing balm. The journey was over. We were safe. But the night's events had left a deep imprint, a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurked in the dark. I made a promise to myself that night, to never venture out on the road after dark. The experience left a deep imprint on my mind, a lesson I would never forget. This haunting encounter, as if ripped straight from the pages of a chilling horror novel, taught us a few invaluable lessons. The first, and perhaps the most critical one, is the importance of not wandering alone at night. The darkness isn't just a simple absence of light, it's a shroud for the unknown, a veil that hides threats and dangers that our eyes fail to see. Our late-night drive was a stark reminder of this. Had we been alone, the outcome might have been vastly different. The stranger's words echoed in our minds, his warning holding a ring of truth we couldn't ignore. You'll be lucky to have each other, because if it was just one of you alone, you wouldn't have been so lucky. These words, while unsettling, served as a grim reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of the night. But it wasn't just the physical presence of danger that haunted us. It was the psychological terror, the eerie feeling of being watched, the hair-raising sensation of not being alone. The night, in its silent and menacing way, taught us the importance of vigilance and precaution. Our encounter with the stranger was a jarring reality check, a reminder that not all who offer help do so with good intentions. It was a chilling revelation that sometimes the most dangerous threats are those that appear friendly at first. The stranger's abrupt disappearance was the chilling cherry on top of our horrifying experience. It served as a grim reminder that there are forces in the world that we may not fully understand. Forces that emerge under the cloak of darkness, revealing themselves only to those unfortunate enough to cross their path. Remember, the night is not just an absence of light. It's a realm where the known and the unknown meet, where the line between reality and imagination blurs. And our encounter that fateful night was a stark reminder of this chilling fact. The night held many secrets, some better left undiscovered. 3 sisters, a dark road, and a journey that turned into a chilling tale. Once upon a midnight dreary, 3 sisters embarked on a journey that would forever change their lives. A trip meant to be a simple 3-hour drive to visit their beloved mother, transformed into a harrowing ordeal that they'd recount with a shudder in years to come. They set off under the cloak of darkness, the only illumination stemming from the dim headlights of their car. The road stretched on endlessly, a black serpent coiling through the desolate landscape. Their conversation was a comforting hum, a beacon of normalcy in the vast wilderness they traversed. They laughed, they chatted, they sang along to the radio, blissfully unaware of the eerie turn their journey was about to take. Without warning, the car's engine sputtered and died, leaving them stranded in the middle of nowhere. The headlights flickered and went out, plunging them into an abyss of darkness. A sense of dread hung heavy in the air, a tangible force that sent shivers down their spines. They stepped out of the car, their hearts pounding in their chests, their breaths fogging up in the cold night air. They were city girls, with no knowledge of how to fix a car. They were lost, alone, and scared. They fumbled with their phones, only to find that they were all dead. It was as if the universe conspired against them, leaving them at the mercy of the unforgiving night. Our Out of the inky blackness, a figure emerged. A stranger, a man whose appearance was as sudden and startling as their car's breakdown. He asked if they needed help, and despite their hesitation, they found themselves nodding. They had no other choice. They watched as he worked on their car, their apprehension growing with each passing minute. The stranger fixed their car, but his parting words sent a chill down their spines. Be careful out on these dark roads. Watch out for the stranger that walks out at night looking to kill. You're lucky to have each other, because if it was just one of you alone, you wouldn't have been so lucky. They turned to each other, their faces pale under the moonlight, their hearts pounding in their chests. When they turned back, the stranger was gone, vanished as suddenly as he had appeared. It was as if he had never been there, a figment of their terrified imaginations. The sisters got back in the car, their laughter replaced by a suffocating silence. The engine roared to life, the headlights cutting through the darkness, illuminating the seemingly endless road ahead. They drove on, their journey taking on a sinister edge. Every rustle of the wind, every shadow cast by the trees, every sound in the silent night seemed to echo the stranger's chilling warning. Their mother's warm embrace and the safety of her home seemed a world away. They drove on, their knuckles white on the steering wheel, their eyes wide with fear. The road seemed to stretch on endlessly, a winding path into the heart of darkness. The journey was a test of their courage, their bond as sisters, and their will to survive. They stuck together, their shared fear forging an even stronger bond between them. They kept each other awake, their conversations now a desperate attempt to keep the fear at bay. They made it to their mother's house just as dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight piercing the dark sky. They were safe, but their relief was tinged with fear. They had survived the night, but the memory of their ordeal was etched deep into their hearts. They survived the night, but the chilling experience forever changed their perception of the darkness. The sisters never drove at night again. The dark roads, once a symbol of freedom and adventure, now held a terrifying reminder of their chilling encounter. Their innocent view of the world had been shattered, replaced by a haunting fear of the unknown. The journey taught them a lesson they would never forget. It reminded them of the fragility of life, the importance of sticking together, and the chilling reality that danger can lurk in the most unexpected places. The sisters' journey was a testament to their courage, their bond, and their survival. It was a chilling tale of a night drive gone wrong, a night that they would never forget. It was a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying stories are the ones that happen to us in the dead of night, on a lonely road far away from the safety of our homes. They survived the night, but the chilling experience forever changed their perception of the darkness. They learned that fear is a powerful force, one that can either paralyze us or push us to survive. And survive they did, holding on to each other, their bond stronger than any fear. But the dark road and the stranger's chilling warning would forever haunt their dreams, a stark reminder of the night their journey turned into a chilling tale. The road at night is not just a path, but a journey into the unknown. The stories we've shared today, though chilling and terrifying, are more than just tales spun to send shivers down your spine. They are lessons from the shadows, warnings from the cryptic whispers of the night. The road at night, as our narrators found out, is a place where reality intertwines with the uncanny, where the ordinary morphs into the extraordinary, and where every mile could be a step into the mysterious. In our first tale, a simple night drive morphed into a horrifying ordeal, a testament to the unpredictability of life. It was a reminder that the night road, often desolate and devoid of life, can transform into a theatre of horror in the blink of an eye. But it also showed us the power of resilience and the will to survive, even when faced with the unknown. Our second story, The Tale of the Three Sisters, was a chilling account of how a seemingly innocuous journey can take a turn for the worse. Stranded on a dark, secluded road, their car refusing to cooperate, and their phones mysteriously devoid of life, they found themselves at the mercy of a stranger who emerged from the darkness. His words, a chilling warning of the dangers lurking in the shadows, served as a stark reminder to always be cautious and vigilant when traveling at night. These stories, as terrifying as they are, serve as reminders of the importance of caution when venturing into the unknown. Night drives, while seemingly serene and peaceful, can quickly become a nightmare if one is not careful. It's crucial to stay vigilant, to be aware of your surroundings, and to never let your guard down. Remember, the road at night is an enigma, a journey into the unknown, and it's always better to be prepared for whatever it may throw at you. Venture into the night, but remember, every shadow could hide a secret, every silence could tell a tale.